Fire and ice? It's not just a cool nickname, it's Iceland's reality. Welcome to the land where glaciers meet erupting geysers, and the northern lights paint the sky like a cosmic masterpiece. Iceland isn't just one of the safest places on Earth, it's a jaw-dropping treasure chest of natural wonders and quirky secrets that'll leave you speechless. Want to know what makes this country so unreal? Stick around as we uncover 15 insane facts about Iceland that might just make you book a ticket tomorrow. Oh, and hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming. Fact 1. No mosquitoes. Yes, you heard that right. Picture this, a warm summer day, you're hiking through stunning landscapes, and not a single mosquito buzzing in your ear. Sounds like paradise? Welcome to Iceland, where mosquitoes are basically extinct. This isn't some happy accident, it's a wild combo of nature's quirks. Iceland's climate is a roller coaster, freezing winters, short summers, and sudden temperature swings that zap any chance for those bloodsuckers to breed. Even when it hits plus 20 degrees Celsius in July, the water in lakes and streams stays too chilly for mosquito larvae to survive. And get this, no swampy marshes or stagnant pools either, which are mosquito HQ everywhere else. Scientists have scratched their heads over this for years. Some say it's the freeze-thaw cycle killing off eggs. Others think the island's isolation in the North Atlantic keeps them from flying in. There's even a crazy story. Back in the 80s, a mosquito somehow hitched a ride on a plane to Reykjavík, but it didn't stand a chance against Iceland's ecosystem. Locals love flexing this fact. No bug spray needed, they'll tell you with a grin. Tourists? They're over the moon. Imagine camping under the midnight sun, no buzzing, no itching, just pure bliss. Wouldn't you trade every mosquito-filled barbecue for this? Drop a yes in the comments if this alone makes you want to pack your bags for Iceland. Fact 2. 99% renewable energy. Eco-warriors, take note. Iceland's not just a pretty face, it's the eco-superhero we all need. This tiny island runs on 99% renewable energy, leaving the rest of the world in the dust. How do they pull this off? It's all about location. Location, location. Iceland sits on a volcanic hotspot, so they've got geothermal power on tap, literally. Underground heat from bubbling hot springs and magma warms homes, powers lights, and keeps public pools steamy year-round. Picture this. In Reykjavík, your shower water comes straight from the Earth's core. How wild is that? About 70% of their energy is geothermal, and the rest? It's hydroelectric. Massive rivers like the Þjórsá churn out electricity with zero pollution. They've got plants like Hellisheidi, one of the biggest geothermal stations on the planet, pumping out clean power 24/7. Iceland's been at this game since the 1970s, way before going green was cool. And here's the kicker, they don't just keep it to themselves. They export their know-how, helping places like Kenya and Indonesia tap into geothermal gold. Carbon emissions? Practically non-existent. Oh, and those hot springs? They're not just for power. Locals grow tomatoes in greenhouses year-round, even in snowy winters. Want to live in a country that's basically the future of sustainability? Smash that like button if you're ready to stan Iceland's green vibes. And tell us, could your hometown pull this off? Fact 3. Northern Lights. That'll stop you in your tracks. Ever dreamed of seeing the sky explode in colors like a galactic rave? Iceland's your spot. The Northern Lights, or Aurora Borealis, turn this country into a bucket list magnet from September to March. We're talking swirling ribbons of green, pink, purple, and even rare reds lighting up the night. It's nature's most epic light show, and Iceland's prime real estate for it, smack near the North Pole, where solar winds slam into Earth's magnetic field, sparking those charged particles into a cosmic dance. But it's not just science, it's magic. Locals have wild tales. Vikings thought it was the glow of Valkyries guiding warriors to Valhalla. Others swore it meant a big event, like a birth or a storm was coming. Today, it's a tourist goldmine. Best places to catch it? Thingvellir National Park's remote valleys, Jökulsárlón Lagoon's icy shores, or the Snæfellsnes Peninsula, and where you're far from city glow. Pro tip, the darker the better. Some chase it on snowmobiles or super jeeps for the ultimate thrill. And get this, it's unpredictable. You might wait hours, then bam, the sky ignites. Photographers go nuts. TikTok's flooded with time lapses. Icelanders call it the lady in the sky, and she's picky about when she shows up. Seen it live? You're in an elite club. Drop your jaw-dropping Aurora story in the comments. Not yet? Tag a friend you'd drag here to witness this insanity. It's a flex worth chasing. Fact 4. No army, just peace vibes. Get ready for a shocker. Iceland doesn't have an army. Like, at all. No tanks, no jets, no soldiers marching around, just pure peace vibes. After World War II, this tiny nation said, "We're good, thanks," and ditched the military life for good. Instead, they've got a coast guard. Think badass boats patrolling the seas, keeping fishing zones safe, because fish are basically gold here. How'd this happen? Back in 1949, Iceland joined NATO, so bigger allies like the US step in if trouble knocks. Fun fact, the US ran a military base in Keflavik from the 50s to 2006. Locals called it the Americans up north. When it closed, Iceland didn't even blink. They were like, "We've got this." No army means more cash for epic stuff. Top-notch schools, free healthcare, and saving the planet. Icelanders brag they've never fought a war in their history. How many countries can say that? It's why they're ranked one of the chillest, safest spots on Earth. Imagine a world where everyone followed this playbook. Utopia or what? Share this with your peace-loving crew and tell us in the comments. Would you ditch armies for this kind of vibe? Fact 5. Geysers. That gave the world a word. Did you know the word geyser is straight up Icelandic? Yep, it all started with Geysir, capital G, in Hákalur Valley, a hot spring so epic it named every geyser on Earth. This bad boy used to blast scalding water and steam sky high, like nature's own fireworks. These days, Geyser's a bit sleepy, only erupting now and then. But its little brother Strákur? Oh, he's the real MVP, shooting water up to 30 meters every 5 to 10 minutes. You're standing there, camera ready, and boom, hot water rockets up like a volcano sneezing. Why is Iceland geyser central? It's parked on the mid-Atlantic ridge where tectonic plates pull apart, letting magma heat underground water until it explodes out. Hákalur's a steaming hotspot, fumaroles hissing, mud pools bubbling, the ground practically alive. Locals say Geysir's eruptions once shook the valley, inspiring Viking tales of gods stirring the earth. Tourists flock here, jaws dropped, snapping pics as Strákur steals the show. Want to feel like you're on another planet? This is it. Tag a travel buddy, you'd haul here to see this insanity live. It's raw, wild, and 100% bucket list worthy. Ever seen a geyser erupt? Spill your story below. Fact 6. Women's Day changed the game. Ladies and gents who stan them, brace yourselves for an epic tale. On October 24, 1975, Iceland's women pulled off a move so bold it rewrote history. Picture this. 90% of the country's women, moms, workers, grandmas dropped everything. No cooking, no cleaning, no 9 to 5. They walked out, hit the streets, and said, "You'll see what we're worth." It was called Women's Day, and it wasn't just a protest. It was a wake-up call. Shops shut down, phones went unanswered, even newspapers shrank because typists said peace out. Men scrambled, dragging kids to work, burning toast. Total chaos. Why'd they do it? To prove women weren't just homemakers. They were the backbone of Iceland. The result? Game-changing laws for equal pay and more women in power. 5 years later in 1980, Iceland elected Vigdís Finnbogadóttir, the world's first female president. She ruled for 16 years, smashing glass ceilings and inspiring girls everywhere. Today, Iceland's #1 in gender equality, year after year, and Women's Day is still celebrated like a national flex. Empowering, right? Share this with a woman who'd roar at this story and drop a wow in the comments if it fires you up. Fact 7. A language frozen in time. Ever wanted to talk like a Viking? In Iceland, they basically still do. Icelandic is a 1,000-year-old time capsule, straight out of the Viking Age, untouched by time. Modern Icelanders can crack open ancient sagas like the Edda or Njál's saga and read them like yesterday's news. How? This island's been so isolated, their language dodged the mashup most tongues get, like English borrowing pizza or sushi. Instead, Icelanders get creative. No foreign words allowed, they invent their own. Computer becomes tulva, a mashup of tulla, number, and vulva, diviner. So it's like a number witch. Telephone, that's simi, an old word for thread, because it connects people like a string. Even television is sjónvarp, sight thrower. Genius, right? Kids here grow up learning this ancient lingo in school, reciting Viking poetry while texting on their tulvas. It's not just talk, it's a cultural flex, keeping their roots alive. Linguists geek out over this. It's like a living museum of Norse. Want to time travel with words? Iceland's your portal. If you're a language nerd, smash that share button. This is too epic to keep quiet. Tell us, what word would you invent in Icelandic style? Fact 8. Waterfalls that'll break the internet. Iceland's waterfalls aren't just pretty, they're nature's heavy hitters, and they're everywhere. We're talking hundreds of them, each a stunner in its own right. Take Seljalandsfoss. You can hike a slippery path behind the curtain of water, feeling the mist hit your face while snapping pics that scream epic adventure. Then there's Gullfoss, the golden waterfall, a two-tier beast that roars into a canyon, spitting rainbows when the sun's out, Instagram gold. And Dettifoss? Hold on to your hat. It's Europe's most powerful waterfall, pumping 500 cubic meters of water per second with a rumble you feel in your bones. Vikings didn't mess around with these. They thought waterfalls were gateways to spirit realms or homes of hidden gods. Today, they're tourist magnets. At Seljalandsfoss, you'll dodge selfie sticks. At Gullfoss, you'll see busloads gaping at the sheer power. Dettifoss even starred in Prometheus as an alien planet's edge. Hollywood couldn't resist. Locals say each fall has a soul. Some swear they've heard whispers in the spray. Ready to chase these giants? Your camera's begging for it. Tell us in the comments, which one's your vibe? Seljalandsfoss, Gullfoss, or Dettifoss? Tag a photog friend who'd lose it over these. Fact 9. Water so pure, you'll ditch bottles. Forget overpriced bottled water. Iceland's got the real deal, straight from nature's tap. Their water is so pure, it's like drinking a glacier's soul. How? It starts high in the mountains. Melted ice from places like Vatnajökull, Europe's biggest glacier, trickles down through layers of volcanic rock that filter it to crystal perfection. No chemicals, no treatment, just pristine H2O you can scoop from streams or pour from any faucet. Locals laugh at tourists lugging plastic bottles. Why bother, they say. Our tap's better than your Evian. And it's true, tests show it's some of the cleanest on Earth, thanks to Iceland's zero pollution obsession. There's a twist though. Hot water from geothermal springs can smell like rotten eggs. Hello sulfur, but it's still 100% safe. Tourists freak out at first, then shrug and sip anyway. Cold water? No smell, just crisp, refreshing goodness. You can refill your bottle mid-hike from a random creek and flex about it later. Ever tasted water this pure? Iceland's daring you to try. Drop a yum in the comments if you'd chug this and share this with your eco-friends. They'll be jealous. Fact 10. A dating app for your family tree. Dating in a small country can get awkward. Iceland's got just 370,000 people, so accidentally swiping right on your cousin? Totally a thing. Enter Icelandingabók, the Book of Icelanders, a mind-blowing database that tracks everyone's family tree back to the 9th century, when Vikings first landed. Need to check if your date's a distant relative? There's an app for that. You type in your names, and boom, it tells you how far back your great-great-great-grandmas connect. Locals joke it's the ultimate first date icebreaker. Hey, we're sixth cousins? Wanna grab coffee anyway? It's not just for laughs though. Iceland's small gene pool makes it a real concern, and this tool keeps things less Game of Thronesy. Scientists love it too. It's a goldmine for studying genetics and diseases. The project kicked off in the 90s by a company called Decode, and now it's got records on 95% of Icelanders ever born here. Talk about Big Brother vibes. Young folks flex it like a party trick, but it's also a cultural flex, connecting every Icelander to their Viking roots. Creepy or cool? You decide. Drop a yay or nay in the comments. Tag a friend who'd freak over this. Would you trust an app with your love life? Fact 11. Fermented shark. Dare to try it? Brace yourself. Iceland's national dish is next level wild. Meet hakarl, fermented Greenland shark that smells like a gym sock and tastes like ammonia had a baby with despair. Why eat this? Raw, this shark's meat is toxic, packed with urea and trimethylamine oxide, stuff that knock you out cold. So Icelanders got crafty. They bury it in gravel for weeks, sometimes months, letting it rot until the poisons break down, then hang it to dry in windy sheds like creepy fish jerky. The result? A pungent, chewy bite that hits you like a slap from the sea. Locals scarf it down with a shot of Brennivin, caraway-flavored firewater, to chase the funk. It's a Viking throwback. Back in the day, this was survival food when winters were brutal and options were slim. Today, it's a badge of honor. Tourists, they either gag on camera, hello viral TikToks, or grin through the pain to say they've done it. Chefs serve it in tiny cubes at festivals, daring you to join the club. Some say it's an acquired taste. Others call it a prank on foreigners. Brave enough to try this stinky legend? Tag a foodie friend you drag into this madness and drop a yum or yuck in the comments. I dare you. Fact 12. Hollywood's secret filming spot. Iceland's landscapes are so unreal. Hollywood's obsessed. Think black sand beaches, towering glaciers, and volcanic badlands that scream otherworldly. Game of Thrones turned Vatnajökull Glacier into the icy wilds. Beyond the Wall, Jon Snow trudged right through that snow. Interstellar and Prometheus used Reynisfjara's eerie basalt columns and ash plains to fake alien planets. Ridley Scott called it a director's dream. Even The Secret Life of Walter Mitty chased its quirky charm across Skogafoss waterfall. Why here? Iceland's got it all. Rugged, untouched beauty, plus tax breaks and local crews who know the terrain. Filming's a big deal. Locals spot A-listers in Reykjavík bars, and tour guides cash in with see where Arya stood trips. Vatnajökull alone covers 8% of the country, a frozen giant that doubles as Hoth or whatever sci-fi vibe you need. It's not just pretty, it's raw, unpredictable, and screams epic. Movie buff? You'll geek out chasing these spots. Tag your cinephile crew who'd lose it here, and tell us in the comments, what's your fave flick shot in Iceland? Share this, it's Tinseltown's best kept secret. Fact 13. Elves are real, or are they? Ready for something straight out of a fantasy novel? In Iceland, elves, or Huldufolk, the hidden people, aren't just fairy tales, they're a legit part of life. Locals swear these mystical beings live in rocks, hills, and cliffs, blending into nature like sneaky neighbors. Surveys say up to 50% of Icelanders believe in them, or at least won't rule them out. It's so serious that construction crews have halted roads and houses to avoid disturbing elf homes. Take the 2013 incident. A highway project near Reykjavík got delayed because locals protested a rock was an elf church. They even hired elf guides, yep, real people who mediate with the Huldufolk to keep the peace. It's rooted in Viking lore, where nature spirits ruled the wild. Today, you can join elf tours in places like Hafnarfjörður, dubbed the elf capital, or visit museums spilling these quirky tales. Tourists eat it up. Some snap pics of elf rocks, others leave offerings just in case. Skeptics call it cute nonsense. Believers say it's why Iceland's so magical. Would you risk ticking off an elf? Tell us in the comments, believer or nah. Tag a fantasy fan who'd book a trip for this. It's too weird to miss. Fact 14. paternity leave that sets the bar. Iceland's not just about epic views, it's rewriting the parenting game. This country offers dads 3 months of paid paternity leave, and they actually take it. 90% of fathers jump in, no questions asked. It's part of a slick system where parents split 9 months total, 3 for moms, 3 for dads, and 3 to share however they want. Why is this a big deal? It's not just about bonding with the kiddo, it's about smashing old-school roles. Dads push strollers, change diapers, and handle midnight feedings, making parenting a true 50-50 deal. The kicker? Companies have to hold their jobs, and the government foots most of the bill, up to 80% of their salary. This started back in 2000, and it's been a global game changer. Studies show Icelandic kids grow up with tighter dad bonds, and moms, they're back at work faster, closing that career gap. Other countries are taking notes. Sweden and Norway followed suit, but Iceland's still the gold standard. Inspired? Share this with a dad who'd rock this vibe, and drop a game changer in the comments if you're loving Iceland's family flex. Fact 15. A nation of book nerds. Iceland's got a love affair with books that'll make your heart melt. They read and write more per capita than anywhere else. Every village, even tiny ones with 50 people, has a library. It's a nation of storytellers, rooted in Viking sagas that still shape their soul. The big event? Jólabókaflóð, the Christmas book flood. Every December, publishers drop a flood of new titles, and everyone swaps books as gifts. It started in World War II when paper was the only thing not rationed. Now it's sacred tradition. Picture this: Christmas Eve, families curled up with hot cocoa, devouring fresh novels while snow falls outside. Cozy overload. Iceland's pumped out literary giants like Halldór Laxness, who snagged a Nobel Prize, and 1 in 10 Icelanders will publish a book in their lifetime. Wild, right? Libraries double as community hubs. Think author talks, poetry slams, even knitting circles with a good read. It's not just nerdy, it's a vibe. Bookworm or not, you'll want in. Tell us your fave book in the comments, and tag a reader who'd thrive in this word-obsessed wonderland. Share this, it's lit. From bug-free summers to chowing down on funky shark, Iceland's a roller coaster of wild word. You've got to jump on. Which fact totally flipped your brain? Elves, equality, or something else? Spill it in the comments. Smash that like button if Iceland's got you hooked, and hit subscribe. Our next trip's gonna blow your mind too. Don't keep this gem to yourself, share it with your adventure squad, and let's get them hyped for Iceland's insane vibes. The land of fire and ice is calling. Will you answer? Imagine moving to a country full of promise, beautiful landscapes, rich history, and a booming economy. But suddenly, you find yourself trapped in a housing nightmare. Sky-high rents, families living in tents, and thousands forced to leave their homeland. What's really happening in Ireland? Stay with us until the end, because what we're about to reveal will shock you. The illusion of prosperity. Ireland has long been celebrated as the land of opportunity. From the stunning landscapes to the booming economy, it's a place that seems to offer the best of both worlds, traditional charm mixed with modern success. Over the past few decades, Ireland has transformed from an agricultural-based economy into a global tech hub, with major multinational corporations like Google, Facebook, Apple, and Microsoft setting up their European headquarters in Dublin. The country has become a magnet for international workers, attracting skilled talent from all corners of the globe. With an influx of foreign investment, Ireland's GDP has surged. The country boasts some of the highest wages in Europe, making it seem like the perfect place for young professionals to build their careers and lives. The streets of Dublin are lined with sleek office buildings, high-end restaurants, and luxury apartments. The media often paints this picture of Ireland as a thriving, prosperous nation, a place where anyone, with hard work and determination, can achieve their dreams. But the reality is far more complex, and not everyone is enjoying the fruits of this supposed prosperity. While the economy has undoubtedly flourished, this success has been disproportionately distributed. The tech giants and multinational corporations, while contributing to Ireland's impressive GDP, don't always translate into benefits for the average Irish citizen. The gap between the wealthy and the working class has widened, leaving many behind in the rush toward economic growth. If Ireland is so prosperous, why are so many people struggling just to find a place to sleep? Stick around, because this story is about to take a turn you won't expect. The brutal cost of housing. Let's talk numbers. In Dublin, the average monthly rent for a one-bedroom apartment is over €2,000. That's nearly double what it was a decade ago. Buying a home? Forget it. The average house price now exceeds €400,000, making homeownership an impossible dream for most people. And with wages not keeping pace with the rising cost of living, many residents are finding themselves caught in a vicious cycle they can't escape. But it's not just Dublin. Across the country, rent is sky high, and affordable housing is in short supply. Rural areas are experiencing a ripple effect from the capital's skyrocketing prices, as people flood the cities, leaving smaller towns and villages in desperate need of affordable options. This imbalance in housing has created a perfect storm, where people are left juggling multiple jobs just to survive, all while struggling to find a roof over their heads. The result? Young professionals are sharing cramped apartments with multiple roommates well into their 30s. Many families are forced to live in emergency shelters, and the number of homeless people has skyrocketed past 13,000, the highest in Ireland's history. How did Ireland's housing crisis get so bad? The answer is shocking. The hidden impact on families. As the cost of housing continues to soar, it's not just young professionals who are feeling the strain. Families, once able to live comfortably in suburban homes, are now struggling to find affordable places to live. In fact, a growing number of families have been forced into emergency shelters, often living in conditions far below the standard we associate with a prosperous nation. In Dublin, there are families living in temporary accommodations, such as hotel rooms or overcrowded hostels, with no end in sight. These families are caught in a never-ending cycle of financial stress, unable to secure a permanent home due to the outrageous cost of rent and the scarcity of available properties. The lack of affordable housing options means that many children are growing up in unstable environments, and the impact on their mental and physical health is profound. It's not just the extreme cases of homelessness we're talking about. Even those who do manage to secure rental properties are living in conditions that would be considered unacceptable elsewhere. In some cases, entire families are forced to share one-room apartments where privacy and personal space are luxuries they can't afford. The simple dream of owning a house, a basic pillar of middle-class life, is slipping away from the grasp of many. Imagine raising a family in a hotel room or crammed into a shared apartment. How did it get this bad? You won't believe what's causing this housing crisis. The government's failure to act. So, why hasn't anything been done about this? The answer lies in the political and economic policies that have failed to address the underlying issues at the heart of Ireland's housing crisis. While the Irish government has made some attempts to tackle the problem, their efforts have been, for the most part, insufficient and misguided. Take the issue of land availability. In urban areas, especially Dublin, land has become a precious commodity, and developers are more focused on luxury housing and high-end apartments that cater to the wealthy rather than affordable housing for working-class families. While millions of euros flow into the pockets of property developers, the average Irish citizen is left to deal with skyrocketing prices and a lack of options. There's also the issue of restrictive planning laws, which make it incredibly difficult to build new housing in areas where it's most needed. The government has failed to implement policies that encourage sustainable, affordable housing development in areas of high demand. Instead, they've prioritized short-term solutions like emergency shelters, which provide temporary relief, but fail to address the root causes of the problem. To make matters worse, the political elite, who are often deeply connected to the real estate industry, have little incentive to change the system. Many of them have benefited greatly from the rise in property prices and the booming construction industry, making it harder for ordinary people to see any meaningful change. What's really behind the Irish government's failure to solve the housing crisis? The shocking truth might just change how you see the entire system. The pressure on young professionals. While families are certainly feeling the heat, it's important to talk about how this housing crisis is impacting young professionals. Ireland has long been seen as a destination for ambitious workers, especially in tech. With companies like Google, Facebook, and Apple establishing their European headquarters here, Dublin has become a hub for skilled workers from around the world. But despite the high salaries that many of these professionals are earning, they're still struggling to keep up with the astronomical cost of living. The allure of a high-paying job in Dublin is quickly overshadowed by the reality of paying rent for a tiny, often dilapidated apartment. A one-bedroom flat in the city center can cost over €2,000 a month, sometimes more. Even if you're making €50,000 a year, after taxes, paying that amount for rent can quickly consume a significant portion of your income. And it's not just rent. The cost of groceries, transportation, and daily living expenses have also increased, pushing many to live in shared accommodation for years. It's not uncommon for professionals in their 30s or even 40s to be living with roommates or in less than ideal conditions simply to save money. For those who grew up in Ireland, it's a harsh reminder of how difficult it is to move forward financially in a system stacked against them. The dream of buying a home, it's increasingly slipping out of reach. The reality is that many young people in Ireland are now looking at renting for the foreseeable future, while others have already started moving abroad in search of better opportunities and more affordable living conditions. It's no longer just a housing problem. It's a quality of life issue that's forcing some of the most talented individuals to leave the country they once called home. Can you imagine working a high-paying job and still not being able to afford a place to live? Stay tuned, because the shocking consequences of this reality are only just beginning. The psychological toll of the crisis. The effects of Ireland's housing crisis go far beyond the financial. For many, the psychological toll is even more devastating. Imagine being stuck in a cycle where you can't see a way out. A cycle that keeps you in debt, anxious, and unable to plan for the future. This isn't just a financial problem, it's a mental health crisis. Living in overcrowded conditions, unable to afford your own space, or constantly facing the uncertainty of eviction can lead to stress, anxiety, and depression. For families, this is even more pronounced. Parents who are struggling to keep a roof over their heads often suffer from increased levels of anxiety, which trickles down to their children. Children growing up in emergency accommodation or overcrowded apartments are far more likely to experience mental health issues, including anxiety, depression, and developmental delays. And it doesn't end there. The feeling of being stuck, unable to own a home, unable to plan for the future, can also lead to a sense of hopelessness. This sense of hopelessness is particularly evident in younger generations, who feel the weight of an entire system that seems to be working against them. With no affordable housing options and little hope of ever owning a property, many are losing faith in the Irish dream altogether. In a recent survey, nearly 1 in 3 young Irish adults reported feeling disillusioned by the prospect of homeownership. They've seen their parents and grandparents live in homes they owned, and now they're watching the same dream slip away. For many, this has led to a feeling of betrayal and, worse, resignation. Is the Irish dream really dead? The psychological impact of this housing crisis is one of the most devastating consequences of all. Keep watching to find out how this is shaping the future of an entire generation. Call to action. This is a critical moment for Ireland's future. Will the country's leaders act to address the growing housing crisis? Will the people of Ireland be able to secure a stable, affordable place to live? The answers to these questions will shape Ireland for generations to come. But we can't wait for someone else to take action. It's time for people to stand up, speak out, and demand a change. If you're passionate about this issue, let your voice be heard, whether by getting involved in local activism or simply sharing this video to raise awareness. What do you think needs to happen next? Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts.